Far below High Hrothgar, sitting in the shadow of the throat of the world, we can find this sleepy little town. On the fork of two rivers that run down the channels of eastern Skyrim, its people work the mill and farm, making small talk with pilgrims travelling towards the iconic 7,000 steps. Welcome to Oddities, a show where we take a look at some of my favourite details, moments and minutiae in games. So grab yourself a tea or a coffee and sit back as we explore together. Today we're in Ivarstead, another of Skyrim's many villages. It's quite a bit smaller than Riverwood and Falkreath, but its natural surrounds offer us a ton of awesome world design and environmental art. From the minute you enter, the road and architecture draw your eyes towards this bridge at the base of the mountain. Being so iconic, it makes sense that the populace would want to make it as clear as possible for travellers to find their way, much like a tourist town in the real world. You can imagine that the travellers bring a lot of business to the local tavern, and maybe buy some produce and supplies from the farm. The town also has a sawmill. We did a full breakdown of Skyrim's mills in the Riverwood video, and this one is much the same. Its water source, however, is wildly different. We find these rapids coming from the fork, water barreling down this rocky descent. There's this huge altitude change in eastern Skyrim, the land falling away and the rivers have naturally carved paths downwards. It looks like the settlers of Ivarstead recognised the power that would be behind these rivers. This town could probably cut more wood in a day than Falkreath could in a week, with the glorified puddle they used to power their mill. Looking at the fork itself, the river just before the rapids seems to be flowing in a different direction. It's not clear if water in Skyrim works differently, but it is a little concerning. Back to the town, we find the Vilemyr Inn, the aforementioned place pilgrims would stay before their trek. We can find the owner, Wilhelm, and his bard, Linley, taking care of the place. In the centre of the inn, we can see these three chairs arranged to face one another. I suppose it's just a communal setup, but it kind of gives the sense of a town meeting. Maybe the leaders of Ivarstead meet here to discuss the goings-on of the village. I don't see any other place to meet, and the inn has mead. Perfect for a Nordic dialogue. Wilhelm's selection of food is a bit more sparse than the other taverns we've seen, mostly bread and cheeses. It feels a bit more provisional. I suppose a lot of his customers won't be staying long and need food that won't perish as quickly. Wilhelm himself says they don't get many people here who aren't heading up to the mountain. This place being so remote, it's a good thing they have barrels upon barrels of ale to keep themselves warm and happy should supplies dwindle. Klimmek and Bassianus live in this cottage here. It's all very dramatic, both of them vying for the heart of the local farmer's daughter. Haven't we all had those roommates we just tolerate? They do quite well for themselves, both fishing in the local rivers. We can see one of their trophies front and centre, and it seems their diet primarily consists of fish. Out working every day, their house sits mostly unused, not really set up to entertain guests. It's a roof over their heads, but not much more. Felstar Farm next door is fairly quaint. Only a few things growing in the cold ground, but they do have the most animals we've seen so far. A cow and 3 chickens. We can see this little coop they've constructed here for them to lay their eggs. While small, we can get a sense that the family are very good at what they do, making use of all the space they have to keep the farm running. They're all a bit on edge though. Astrid, the daughter, having her mind set on leaving town and making her own way. With the mindful setup of the farm, we can see how this change would affect the careful ecosystem her parents seem to enjoy. Inside, we can see their lodgings are also minuscule, jamming 3 people within. The parents, Botti and Jofthor, have separate beds. We could infer marital problems, but some people just prefer to have their own bed. Maybe one of them tosses and turns a lot. One thing I enjoy about side characters is when they're given a small quirk that makes them instantly memorable. I've always enjoyed visiting Temba and Gwilyn at the mill for this very reason. The Bosmer worker is always upbeat, having sworn to have a positive outlook on life despite any hardship, and even here, in the middle of nowhere doing mundane work, he happily chirps greetings as we pass, a smile always on his face. I think we could all try and be a bit more like Gwilym. His boss, Temba, has a different kind of quirk. She just hates bears. It's all she'll talk about, and she'll even send you on a quest to kill a bunch of them for no particular reason. Apparently they're destroying the trees she needs with their scratching, but we can see plenty untouched in the surrounding lands. The Ivarstead mill runs well enough, despite the dichotomy between the two. Poor Gwilym having to put up with Temba's agitated musings, sometimes getting caught in the crossfire. It always brings me a bit of joy to hear the two's contrasting voices as I pass through the town. Across the river, you can find Narfi's dilapidated hovel. It's a sad sight to see him, trapped within his own mind as he dawdles around the cold shack. He sleeps in this bedroll here and still manages to stay fed, the villagers donating some of their supplies to help him. Interestingly, there's a Dark Brotherhood contract out to have Narfi killed. I wonder who he slighted to merit such a response. On the bridge here, at the base of the mountain, we can find one of my favourite views in Skyrim. The river running down the cliffs towards Windhelm, drawing us to continue our adventure. It gives a bit of that vertigo feeling when you look down at the rushing rapids below. A slip here would certainly end badly. On the ridges at either side, you can see how the river has cut its way through here over the centuries, and with this discoloration and lack of vegetation on the left, we can assume its depth changes often with rainfall or melting snow in the warmer months. Nobody tell Temba, but there's a bear cave right here to the north of town. There are 2 dead hunters at the mouth, mauled by one of its defenders. The villagers don't seem too concerned about the bear. It probably avoids entering the town, stalking the wilds to escape more hunters, or Temba. Within we can find another. These two were likely mates, defending their home as they prepare to hibernate, or maybe give birth to cubs, which would explain their aggression. There's a smashed cart and pickaxe lying on the ground. It looks like someone was trying to stake their claim and do a bit of mining in this cave before their unlucky encounter with the bears. There's a book on heavy armor forging and a corundum vein. Maybe it was a blacksmith looking to get into the armoring business. I don't think that venture will be going anywhere. Unlike the other villages we visited, the Nordic ruin of Ivarstead does not overlook it, but rather almost sits within the town itself. Wilhelm the innkeeper warns us about Shroud Barrow's haunted nature, and rest assured, we'll be taking a look within soon. Speaking of Nordic ruins, to the east of town, across the lake, we can find the ancient tower of Nilheim. It looks like it was a watchtower, giving an unrestricted view of the surrounding lands. It gives us a good sense of how the throat of the world dwarfs Ivarstead, the great mountain rising from the ground like a spear. The tower's been claimed by some guards. They seem quite friendly, I'm sure we can trust them. I don't think the people of Ivarstead get up here much if these people were just able to walk in and make it their own. It looks like they've been here a while, with tables and chairs surrounding their fire pit. There might have been a wall or walkway surrounding the watchtower. We can find a remnant here, but whatever the structure may have looked like, it's been buried beneath the dirt or crumbled away into the river. And that's pretty much Ivarstead. It's not a place we're meant to spend much time in. A fetch quest or two and the Dark Brotherhood are really the only things that bring us back here after our journey up the mountain. It's nice that it does exist though. The base of the mountain could have just had a trail marker or ruin indicating the way upwards. But instead we have this settlement who revere the climb and offer supplies to any who dare to undertake the journey. And it makes sense too. A lot of natural wonders of the real world have a town nearby who will base a lot of their economy on tourism to the place. The only thing Ivarstead is really missing is a gift shop. Maybe Wilhelm could sell some I Survived the 7,000 Steps t-shirts. Thanks for watching. As always, if there's any games, moments or details you'd like us to take a look at, let us know in the comments. Millie's made a document compiling every single one of your recommendations and suggestions, and I'm super keen for us to explore them. We read every comment and love to see the discussions continuing beneath each video. You guys just bring so much enthusiasm, and it makes this series such a joy to make. Subscribe for more oddities, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.